Wow, that was a crazy game. You know, Alex got a little bit cheesy there in the beginning with the proxy gate.
Yeah, I think if we can go back and just look at that game for a second, it all came down to not blocking that barracks off with that initial probe. I mean, the rest of the game was pretty much ad-libbed from there from LX. So unfortunately, in a strategy like that, execution is everything.
Indeed. You know, Super, he played an excellent game. It was a must-win situation, and win he did. So the next map, LX has chosen Coliseum 2. Again, a very balanced map for Terran versus Protoss.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, unless you got anything else to say, I'm ready to do this.
No, let's go right now.
All right.
And here we go on map 3. It is Coliseum, so that is LX's pick. It's a very good map for Terran versus Protoss. Really a very balanced map, statistically speaking.
You know, I really enjoy casting games on this map. We can see quite a variety of strategies despite the fact that it is a 4-player map. We can see, you know, games where both players are turtling hardcore, focusing on the economy. And then we can see these games where we see very technical rushes, and technical rushes from both races.
Yeah, you know, I seem to prefer the technical rushes on this map. It
right,
gets
me too.
pretty hard as Terran late game. You know, a lot of Arbiters come into play. You have to have a lot of turrets, a lot of upgrades. It becomes a very hard macro battle. So, you know, the technical rush games I find a little bit more interesting here.
I have to agree with you. Plus, you know, it's always exciting to see a map where Terran can do so many different things, anywhere from a fast drop ship off 1 factory to 2 factory to 2 factory plus an early starport, maybe with a drop ship. So it can be a very exciting and dynamic map.
Yeah, and you know, Terran really has to plan out their early strategies on this map because, you know, Protoss has 2 extremely strong strategies on this map. One is the 10-15 gate rush.
Right.
Very good on this map. You have that high ground over the wall in. It can be quite difficult to hold as Terran. And the other, of course, is a fast nexus. You know, making that nexus on 12 or 13 supply before your gateway. It can really give you an economical lead. It's very hard to rush on this map. So, you know, Terran, as I said, really has to have plans to defeat both those.
Yeah, this is definitely a map where Terran has to be prepared for anything and everything because there's just not one right way to play this map, but just so many correct ways for a good Protoss player to start fighting a Terran player. So you really got to just be prepared for everything. It's one of these maps where I really think we get to see who knows this matchup overall better.
Yeah, you know, if you're a better player on this map, I think you're going to win most of the time.
Yeah.
And I can see why this map was chosen. You know, there's not a whole lot of maps left for them to choose. Shin Chupangyang and Neo Harmony are the 2 maps that are left in the map pool, aside from Coliseum. So I think it was a good choice overall for LX. The other 2 maps, a little bit more Terran favored. So really, this is going to be LX's best chance to finish off this series.
Oh, I think so. LX, of course, I got to hand this guy a lot of respect. I think he's been playing pretty well in this series, but unfortunately, Super just seems to be the one who can bounce back from just about anything.
Yeah, you know, Super, I can't really explain the Medusa game. It was really quite astounding that he almost came back there after LX had such a brilliant lead.
Yeah. It just seems as though when LX gets that lead, it's like he doesn't know what he's supposed to do with himself. Really, when Protoss gets a huge lead, you need to take a big, deep breath and just say, okay, I'm just going to watch the mini-map, make pylons and units. I mean, especially with the kind of lead that LX got against Super in that Medusa game. And instead, LX kind of said, oh, God, he hasn't attacked me yet in a while. Maybe I should just try to go kill him now, or maybe I'm more ahead than I realize. And really, that's not how you want to play a matchup when you're the defender. Just like you don't want to do that in a Protoss versus Zerg when you're the Protoss and you get ahead. You don't need to just try to rush into his main and kill him. Let's just let him sit back and try to figure out his next little plan that's not going to work, crush that, and win the game.
Exactly, and you know, that attack on Medusa, let's hope we don't see something like that again. Really what LX, I think, should have done, as you said, in addition to that, though, you know, if you sit back and make some more gateways at another location, that really helps, because as we saw, Super, you know, he almost got a contain up over all the gateways. And if you don't have gateways anywhere else on the map, that's going to be super hard to come out of.
And you know what? No pun intended, right?
No pun intended.
And you know what's funny about that is that usually after you kill a huge Terran push, I shouldn't even say a huge Terran push, that standard mid-game Terran push, that is what is supposed to trigger the Protoss to make all their gateways in another main. If you have a Terran player who's not pushing out and you're a little bit worried that his army is going to be a bit too forceful and split up your ground army, then you start making all the gateways in the main. But he had the advantage. There was really nothing that necessitated him doing that. I don't know. So right now it doesn't seem like LX is bringing his A game. I'm sure LX knows all this and maybe even better, the stuff that you and I are talking about. But it's funny when you don't see it quite executed like that.
Indeed, and we see that it's a very fast expansion out of Super. He's going to go for a siege expand, whereas LX, a very fast expansion as well. So it's looking like it's going to shape up to be an economic game. And, you know, that's basically what you see most of the time on this map.
Right.
So, you know, this map, it's not good for carriers. Really not.
No, there's no point in going carriers on this map. Maybe if you wanted to do something like make an expansion and 3 Dragoons and then just stop Dragoons, not get a Robo Bay, and just start getting carriers so fast that it doesn't really matter what map it's on. The Terran wouldn't have expected this. But you're not going to do that against a player like Super. I mean, we saw Super get 3 factories and a starport before expanding that last game. So, and actually, you know, I don't think that's quite uncharacteristic of Chinese Terrans in general. Chinese Terrans love 2-factory or technical early rushes of any sort. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything like that from LX. So definitely, you're totally right, Artosis. We're going to see an Arbiter play.
Yeah, you know, and the trick is, how quick is he going to go Arbiter this game? He's going to go it off 2 base, he's going to go it off 3 base. I can't see him going off of 4 base, though, because on this map in particular, taking a 4th base is extremely difficult. The 3 bases are sitting right there for you. You have your natural, you have your 3rd base right there. So easy to take. But to get that 4th base, you really want some tech like an Arbiter to help you keep map control.
I think this is the only position we're going to see that there's a possibility of the Protoss going for fast Arbiter off their 2 base, because the Terran's so far away. Most Terran players are trained not to push until, you know, shortly after the Protoss has the 3rd base in cross spots.
Yeah, you know, you don't really want to push against a 2-base Protoss, because if Protoss stays 2-base for so long, that either means, 1, they're going a lot of gateways and thus they're going to have a huge mass, or 2, they're teching up very quickly, and tech, you know, normally destroys the timing push pretty well if they didn't take a 3rd base. So, you know, it would be smart of him not to attack if Alex does go for that quick Arbiter.
Oh, I agree with you there. Now what we're seeing Super do here, this is very standard for Terran on this map. If they get, okay, whoa, and this is not standard coming here from LX to actually attack at a moment like this. But, in fact, I don't know if I agree with this at all here. I don't think this, I'm getting a little angry, actually. What is he doing? Your thoughts, Dan?
You know, my thoughts are he felt like there was only 2 or 3 tanks up there, but in fact there were more, and he lost a lot of Dragoons that he did not need to lose. So right now, Super has to be feeling very good about his position. You know, when you take out about 4 Dragoons that early into the game, as long as you keep your macro up, basically the Protoss is not going to be able to kill you early. So that's going to take a huge weight off of Super's shoulders. It's going to really put him into a much more comfortable position.
Well, this also tells Super, hey, relax a little bit. He can't attack you again. And he's going to have to get ready to be defensive in case I do decide to do an early push. I don't think we've seen a second armory up here, but honestly, I'm a little bit confused by what LX was doing back there. In fact, I'm a little bit confused by what he's doing now, because he's moving out here again.